Okay, so we're going to work on the directed exercise, creating header and footer sections. And so it is asking us to work on, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our 5509 COL, and we're going to go into design mode. And a couple of things we're going to do is we're going to, let's see, we're going to add a constant field, and we're going to call it corporate listing. We're going to add a report header section, and we're going to populate the report header section. So those are the things we're going to do.
No, it comes right up.
Okay, so just as a reminder, I'm looking at the page header section. And if I look at this, there's company title. And there's report title. And those are runtime variables. And if we deleted them, we can always add them by choosing runtime fields and company and report title. That's all well and good. And then over on the right-hand side are the date, time, and page 1 of X. And then we have the report object name over on the left, which depending upon what client you have may or may not be, they may or may not want displayed. And we are going to add a couple of things. So the first thing we're going to do is making sure the page header is in focus, which means it has the dot to it. I'm going to come up here to the top and choose a constant field. And I am going to place it down here. And we're going to have it centered right here underneath this. And we're going to call it corporate listing. So I'm going to double click into it to edit it. And I'm going to type in corporate listing. Okay. Now, the best way to get this aligned, let's see if I can do this. Is I want to go into layout, and I'm going to say align to the center. And notice that the top two were already aligned, and it aligned the corporate listing down below.
So when I did it, it aligned the objects in the section below it, even though I had just clicked on the header section, and now it won't undo it.
So do this. Do not hit the save button and
I'll
go
just
to
load it again. Yeah, just
File, Exit, and Reload.
okay.
Now, when you come back in, I want you to notice when you come back in that make sure it says apply to current section instead of all sections.
Okay.
Because
It's not giving me the option for alignment. I'm guessing. Yeah, mine's not giving me the option for alignment when I click on corporate listing. Or do I need to click multiple?
you need to click on more than one object.
See, but I did that before and then it. Mhm.
Well, let's try it. Align. Now I've kind of gone
Yeah,
over
current
this section
section,
too.
center. Well, did it that time.
Did it do it that time? So let me mention something here that you don't yet see because this is the demo version of this. Usually I can click this and see the thick square here.
Mhm.
I'm going to hold the left control key down and click the next one above it. Oh, it's working now. Notice how it has a light, the corporate listing has a light border around it, and the top one has a heavy border. And then if I click a third one, it's always the last one that has the heavy border.
Okay. And that's the one that they'll be basing everything
It's
off
the
of.
one that they will be aligning to, yes. So if I said left edges, they would all align up like that. Now, before I save this, I'm going to edit and undo
Or-
to get it back the way it was. Now that doesn't always work if it's changing stuff down below as well. That's why I told you the safest way is to just exit without saving and come back in. So, all right, so we've modified the page header section. And we're going to hit save. And now we're going to add a report header section. So we're going to click on section, create a header. Now we're going to look at the header and footer section, and we're going to add a report header right there and click on that.
Okay.
Now, notice where it puts that section. Now, the thing, and also notice that when you go to section and you create one, notice that the header section is now grayed out because it knows there's already one and it disables you from being able to add more than one. Okay. Now, in the report header section, we're going to insert a constant. So I'm going to click it and then click it in here. And I am going to change this to this report is confidential and proprietary to J.D. Edwards. And now if I want this to be centered along with the header, I can, with this, I'm going to highlight that first, and then I'm going to come up here and highlight that top line because I know it's centered. And I'm going to go to Layout, Align. And notice how it recognized that I've selected things that are in multiple sections. So it's already said all sections. And I'm going to select center and say OK. And so now it is centered. If I didn't believe it, I can always move this way off center. And do the same thing over again. And boom, see it, actually see it move.
I only see one thing selected. How did you get them to line up?
Well, that is one of the downfalls of this demo junior is the first time I did this, it was highlighted. And then I clicked up here and it stayed a box. But when I had it over here and selected it, sometimes the box
So it just didn't appear.
and sometimes it doesn't. And so if I go to Layout and Align, if this says all sections, it means you have more than one thing selected. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to look and see if the preview works. And look, there's my preview. It's coming up slowly. And interesting. So it gave me a title at the very top.
Mine says this is a bad title for a report.
Is that what you called it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't gonna try and keep up and spell all that correctly. I'm not that good at spelling.
Well,
It'll be something I pay attention to when I'm working.
yes, in this business, you're going to need to pay attention to that.
Well, I will. But you know, I would have taken the time to spell it all correctly, but we're in class, so.
Yeah.
I guess we need to change the number of entries so that we can see a second page, huh?
Or
Put a page break in there.
no, you can actually go to version list and just run it.
I did run it, and it only gave me one page. Because we have it set for only that much.
No, preview is set for only that much data. Nope, it's the same size. So yes, that's all the data there is.
I told you I ran it.
Well, I didn't think that we had I thought the preview would be something less than all of the data.
Well, we don't have it set for all the data. Don't we have it set for just a section of the data?
We have it set for a certain number of lines, but apparently that limit is set for bigger than how much data there actually is. So if we go back into report design mode and go to, let's see, is it item properties? No. User options under view. And rows to preview is 30.
We've got 23 rows online.
So I'm going to drop it down to 19 rows. And then we should be able to see a difference. Let's see, F5. Run preview, yes.
Hey, look at that. It dropped by 2 kilobytes. And that is 3 less than what mine shows.
Okay. All right. So we have modified that. Okay.
Modified and attached to report.
Okay, so just carrying on, let's go back into design. And we are going to, we would also like to include a note at the end of the inventory by business unit report that indicates the purpose of the report. You would like it to say that the report lists inventory items for business units 30 and 40. So we're going to do that. Oh, that's a different. They want you doing this to a different report. We're going to go ahead and add a report footer to this one. So we're right here. We're going to go to section, create, report footer. And we want to say business units 951 and 952. Okay, so down in here, we're going to take a constant and drop it in. Let's change the font so that it's a lot bigger. So we're going to, I double click on the properties and go to font color. We're going to change the size to, well, we're going to choose font and Arial, regular, and make it 20. Here's Arial. select 20 and say okay. And then we're going to say this report lists all GL items for business units 951 and 952, period. And if I want to center this, I'm going to highlight it. And then I'm going to click on this report here because I know that's already centered. And I'm going to select layout, align, center, and okay. So let me know when you get that put in.
Done.
And then preview it.
Oh, dang it.
What?
ERWs. This report lists all GL ERWs. And since I changed the name of it, it changed the size of it, and I have to realign it.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. I also noticed that when I clicked on my report header object that I was going to center it to, that it moved a little bit. So I ended up clicking them all and aligning them back to the page head, which didn't move.
Very good. That's very good that you noticed that, because that is, if you have to keep in mind that in the design mode here, these have all been aligned via the layout align command, which means they're not necessarily snapped to the grid. And when you click on it, it might move a little bit because it's not snapped to the grid. And then you have to realign everything.
Is it too high now? Shouldn't be.
Might be.
Yeah, that top one looks too high.
Yeah. It's moved everything. Now I'm going to click on this one again, see if it jogs to the left a little bit. Yep, it jogged to the left. So did that. Now, what you can do then is I'm gonna jump out here to unselect everything, and then while holding my left control key down, click, 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 and click. Redo the alignment. It's Kristen. And then if I don't want to see it move, I can always go into view user options, is it? No, it's layout, grid alignment,
Snap to grid.
and unsnap to grid. And then just clicking on it, it won't move. But the problem is if my cursor's a little sloppy, now it moves every little time the mouse moves. So there is the downside of that. Okay. And so you guys saw the report footer. There's the entry for the report footer. You guys both good with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
or well, one of us is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna close all this output. And we are going to save this and exit out. And I am going to stop recording.